Road slide project. Martin, you've got
Yes, sir.
those, I believe.
The bids were required to be time-stamped by 9:30 on Tuesday, December 13th, 2016. Looks like there's, best I can tell, there's two bids. The first one was time-stamped and date-stamped December 13th at 8:26 a.m. It's from Stewart and Tucker Insurance Agency. It's,
Bonding.
yeah, I don't see a bid. Well, it says the bid's 135,000.
From Bill Davis. No, this is their bond.
Oh, it's their bonding company, yeah, that's right. Tucker and Stewart Insurance Agency.
So the bidder is actually,
Bid is Bill Davis Backhoe and Dozer Service, $135,000. The next bid was time and date stamped December 13th at 9:04 a.m. It's from Wilson and Roy Construction, Inc., and the bid is $152,000. Guess somebody needs to look at them, and make sure they meet the bid specifications.
we need to have a motion to accept them first, right, for review.
To accept the bids for review.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? I guess we want to maybe have Ryan and, let's see, where'd Leslie go to? Did she leave? Hey, Ryan and Leslie, you want to go back and just make sure they meet the bid specs? Next item then on the agenda will be the county clerk budget presentation. Will you do that for us, Jennifer?
Yes, I think I gave everyone a copy of that. Everything's pretty much, there's really no major changes. Estimating, around a $900 increase in excess fees. Of course, this is less, of course, than what we turned over this year, but depending on the economy, the usage tax, it varies. We'd rather underestimate than overestimate and make you smile at the end of the year than be mad at us. So, this is just what we got for this year, estimated out, so.
We need a motion to accept that.
Motion.
Second. Motion second to accept the county clerk budget. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. And
I
also-
do,
I'm sorry.
Martin, correct me if I'm wrong, does the motion not have to include whether it's approved as a whole or approved line by line?
Just approved as a whole, I think.
Well, but does it not need to say, because there's two ways they can approve.
Approve it by line item by
You
line
can
item.
line item by line item, or you can approve it as,
If the motion was to approve it as a whole.
oh, okay.
Specify that, you can.
I think it needs to be,
Is that the,
Is that the
Was that
motion,
your
Mike, to
motion,
approve it as a
Mike?
whole?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what I just assumed. I shouldn't have done that, but.
Do we need to approve line item by line item?
Next item on the agenda then will be a Time Warner cable proposal, and I'm gonna ask Carl Overton. Y'all are familiar with Carl. He works for Telecom Audit Group. He's been working with us for a year now, probably, and I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while, but he's done several things that have saved the county significant amounts of money, and they have another proposal to add some more savings to us and also increase some of our services. So Carl, if you would kind of explain your finding here.
All right, thank you, Steve.
I won't use the mic, I'm gonna talk, if you can hear me fine, I'm gonna talk a little louder. Of course, my name is Carl Overton, I'm a senior auditor with the Telecom Audit Group. And we've been auditing your county now a little over a year. And when we first started auditing your county, we found a lot of things. And one of the things that during the audit, we looked at Time Warner. But we couldn't do anything with Time Warner at that time, very simply because you were under contract in certain areas, so it would have benefited you at that time. But you're no longer in contract. Now, our job is to look at the services that you have, look at your telecommunications services, and make sure that you're getting the best and the most efficient, and you're staying up with the technology. That's our job. That's why we're with you for that 18-month period. Now, when we finished your initial audit, when we first did your initial audit, we cut your cost $49,000 a year. Then we went in and not only that, but we recovered $18,000 in overcharges and overbilling. Once you went out of contract, Wesley went back and revisited with Time Warner. And when we look at something to whether we're going to vet it or recommend it, number one, we want to make sure it doesn't degrade your service. We want to make sure that it improves your service. There's times it improves the service, but really doesn't decrease the cost much. But still, the efficiency of the service as a whole is worth the change. In this particular case, not only did we find that it increased your efficiency of your service, but we also cut your cost an additional $18,000 a year. Okay. So what it's going to do, very simply, kind of give you an idea how it's going to increase your service. Right now, you on a 1.5 meg on your ELAN system. It's going to increase it to a 5 meg network. It's going to increase it up in speed. The public service is on a 1.5 meg data. We're going to increase it to 10 meg. Okay. On your internet, you're going to go here at the courthouse, you're going to go from a 10 meg to a 50 meg. And you're going to cut your cost $18,000 a year. Not only that, but it's going to wipe out your long distance, because how their program of service is set up, they give you free long distance, 5,000 to 6,000 minutes, which is going to cover the courthouse and some other things, and everything else is unlimited. You're looking at saving $371 a month just on long distance alone on that. So everything is going fiber. That's what they're going to do. Everything, you're going from the old legacy system to a new, brand new state-of-the-art 21st century fiber system. And so that brings you in up. You'll be one of the guys like our counties all over Kentucky. You're going to be one of the top counties in the state with the most efficient and the most up-to-date service, if you choose. My job is very simply to give you the information. From a technical standpoint, I'm not a technician. If you have technical questions, I'll leave this to Time Warner and let them answer your questions. But from our standpoint, you're looking at a cost factor to do this. Time Warner's around $2,100. They gave you a $1,200 discount, and that's still going to be an installation cost of around $2,100. We also got to look at your telephone system here. We're pretty sure, 99.9% certain, that it's compatible with what we're going to do, so we don't have an upgrade, etc. But you do have an installation cost with a phone company where they have to port things over and work with Time Warner. I think you're probably looking at about $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 in that range. So your total cost is around probably $3,500, $3,600 installation cost. But if you're saving $1,500 a month, you're recovered 2 months, 3 months at the most. So it's almost like a no-brainer, and that's why we come in and we don't have a problem with telling you that you really need to consider looking at this from our standpoint, from our standpoint.
So we're saving $18,000,
Additional $18,000.
and we're getting better and faster service?
You get faster service. You're getting in one area. You're getting from 10 to 50. So you get 5 times faster service. Yeah. Plus you get courtesy. They give you courtesy cable.
Let me clarify one point too. I don't think I might have not hurt it. But, what we're asking today is permission to enter into this contingent upon, there's a couple variables that they still have to make sure works with our current system. And then once we are sure that that's gonna work, then we'd like the ability to go ahead and go forward with this. But we're not approving the contract to go forward today. We are approving, we're just permission to enter into this contract should those other variables pan out and everything works. So that's kind of, am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, well, so, 'cause I think this is something you really need to look at.
And what are there was two variables you told me that we need to check into?
Well, number one, we'll make sure the phone system is compatible, and we, 99.9%. That's really not a variable. What we're interested in is just what the installation is gonna cost from the phone companies, from the equipment company. We think that's gonna be about $1,500. So I wanted to go ahead and give that to you, so you, in your mind, you can add 2,100, 1,500, know your cost recovery is gonna be about 2 months.
So, do we need to do this, or just let them check into it and then okay it, or whatever?
If it's gonna work with our phone system, I'd say absolutely, let's do it. I'd say it's we're moving, like I said, to a better service. We're getting up with the times. We're gonna be more efficient and on the cutting edge of technology as any county in the state, and saving money. I mean, right now, government in general is like a big, strainer, and money just leaks out the bottom. This, Mr. Overton and his company have come in here and helped us plug a lot of those holes, and it's things that we normally don't see unless you've got somebody watching it. So
Oh, yeah, he's been great with the phone service, I'll admit to that.
I think it's just another find that he has discovered that, in the course of our business, we try to find all these things, but sometimes we get busy and we overlook something, but I think he's,
I guess my question is, do we need a motion and a vote to just for them to check into it?
I'd say,
Martin?
I think you can approve it contingent on it being compatible
Ability to
with the
work.
current phone system, and then you can put a cap on the cost of switching over. I think you said $1,500. So you could approve it contingent upon those two things, or you can.
Don't hold me to 1,500, I think it's gonna be that way.
That's what I said, that's a guesstimation, you don't know for
Yeah, I
sure
can't price her, I'm
what the
certain.
phone company's gonna charge.
I think if the court's gonna approve it today, you'd need some cap.
we cap it at 2, would that,
Yeah, it'd be, sure, it'd be a contingency, I mean, it's.
If it goes over 2, it comes out of your
contingency
pocket.
that's
I think that we're
in
just,
the range of-
trying to get it okay for them to just check it out and see if it'll work.
I don't.
And then we'll
but if
come
it
back.
does, we don't wanna wait until a month from now to get started. We'll have to go ahead and.
I just spoke with TW a few minutes ago, and he said they was having a problem moving enough data, so I'd say that'll probably fix his problem.
Throw in more money.
So, yeah, we just take a motion to approve it contingent upon it being compatible.
Motion,
Second.
So the motion is second. Any further discussion?
upon it being compatible.
All in favor?
Nah.
Any opposed? Carl, we do appreciate your hard work, and I recommend you to other counties too, because you really,
He did a good job.
you've really done what we've asked you to and gone above and beyond what we thought you would do, so thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, then I'm gonna skip one. I'm gonna go down to Somerset Pulaski EMS Ambulance Block Grant Application. Joan, is that something you're familiar with, or is?
Yes, we do this every year. This is nothing,
That's the one that's squad in the EMS platform state.
yeah.
We got the rescue squad and the EMS platform.
And it's only like $5,700 is what they're applying for, is that right?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second to approve that block grant application. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Nah.
Any opposed? All right, then we've got next item then will be a request for new phones for the PVA, and that's with Unified Technologies. Is there a representative from Unified with us?
They became aware of some more options today that might work better for them, and so they're gonna review those and present at a later date.
So we'll move away from this one, okay?
Which one was that? I don't know.
Next item on the agenda is the spay and neuter grant. Basically, grant we do every year for,
Yeah, this is the one that we do every year. Tiffany asked me to talk about it today. What it is now, instead of them just giving us the full money, they're requiring a match. So, what I'm gonna request today is if you all would, approve the grant and also the $1,000 match necessary.
The grant is just $4,000 and we're
Yeah,
gonna
and then we'll
match it with 1,000.
Yes, sir.
Motion.
Second.
motion and second to approve the spay neuter grant. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda then will be a request to advertise for bid. And the bid we want to advertise is, Dan, is this
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security grant? You know, we've been approved for this grant. Now we want to bid out some of the security features in that. And then we've got to put that out to the public for two
Motion.
executives.
Second.
Motion and second to request to advertise the Homeland Security bid. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
And to elaborate a little more on this, Tiffany, Leslie, and I went and spoke with Homeland Security. And what this is going to do, we still have a few hoops that we have to jump through before, you know, the actual agreement comes down. But this will save much needed time in the future, because then we won't have to start, we'll have these in place, ready to go when the agreement gets here.
Do we have the grant?
We have the grant, but we are waiting, we have to do some EHP, we have to do some historical, we have to do a lot of forms before we actually get the grant agreement, but we have been awarded the grant.
Okay, next item on the agenda then, will be extension office agreement. Basically, this agreement is with the extension board. They've got a cleaner, I guess, that basically we pay this cleaner and then they reimburse us. Is that correct, Joan?
Yes, it is.
And
They reimburse everything, all matches, everything.
so they had somebody, I guess, leave that position and they're wanting to,
No, it's the same one, we just haven't updated the agreement.
Okay, so we just need to update this
The agreement
agreement.
needs to be updated.
y'all got a copy of that. So basically, if y'all would like to update that agreement, take a motion to do that.
Is it still with Barnes? Is that,
No, this is the extension service, and they have hired, it's with Frankie Vaught. Frankie Vaught, is their janitor, and basically, it's a trade-off. It runs through our payroll, and, they reimburse.
Is this a yearly renewal? I don't remember doing this last year. Was this?
We didn't do it last year, but we figured that it needed to be renewed.
Okay.
I don't remember doing it either.
I think the extension office asked that it be renewed.
Something you gentlemen
Needs to be
have
done, Joe.
done in the past. I don't know.
Motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So, bring us to our department reports, and I want to ask, when you give your department report, just, Ross has indicated that we need to come to the microphone, because you can't, there's nothing over there that we can hit we can hear you on the public. So if you come up to the microphone when you give your report, we'd appreciate it. So, is the sheriff with us today? I didn't notice. No sheriff. Jailer not with us today. Coroner, do you have anything you'd like to report today? Anything further from the clerk's office? Public safety, Tiger, you have anything to report today?
Get up at that mic, Tiger. Be hollering at us.
We're gonna wait on that.
Guys, it's been a tough decision, ladies.
We're gonna vote this down, Tiger.
I appreciate it, guys and ladies, and it's been a great honor to serve the citizens of Pulaski County for the last 19 years in court and judge. Dan, you guys have done a heck of a job. Martin, me and Martin talk quite often and so forth, but I appreciate the support y'all have given me and we started out in the 8 to 10 office in
Microphone.
1997, and now we're in a 18-acre complex with 8 buildings and so forth, and a staff of 6 people and so forth, guys. And I never come to court one time in the 19 years that I didn't get support from the court on the issues we was doing. But it's just time to move on. There's times when you've done about all I think you can do, and I appreciate everything. And it's been a great 19 years. And if the court will let me keep it, I want to keep the cell phone I've got. I've had it since 1995. I'll be paying for that number and everything, but if you need me, I'll still got the same number. And that's night or day or whatever, and I appreciate what y'all do. I still live here as well. And just thank you for letting me serve as your public safety director for the last 19 years. I appreciate everything.
On behalf of the citizens of Pulaski County, we want to thank you. I mean, I think we all, speak for the county, we sleep well at night knowing that we are in good hands, and I know it's not just you. You've got a team around you that you've groomed, and we feel very safe. We feel like in the event of emergency that we will be ready, and we thank you for all that you've done to make that. And Tiger, I just can't say enough for your passion and how much you've gone above and beyond, and just given so many sleepless nights to this county, and I thank you for that sacrifice. It was truly a calling you answered, and I appreciate it.
It's a teamwork with this group right here and all emergency personnel in the county, and Steve will tell you as well, and Becky will tell you in the dispatch, it's a team effort, and it takes everybody in the county, and we've surrounded ourselves with good people, and you get good results that way. But once again, a lot of sleepless nights on doing this. Me and Jones talk back and forth and everything else, and the magistrates, but guys, it's just it's time for me to move on, and you guys get somebody else to be better than what I've done. So.
We'll consider this for a few weeks and let you know if we decide.
Not me.
I'm not even gonna consider it.
Tiger, you will be missed, we want you to know.
And you guys are missed as well too, guys, but it's, like I said, it's been a team effort all these years. And, I've never come to any of you guys and asked for something that we didn't find a good answer out of it. It may not have been the answer we started with, but we've got a good answer out of it, positive for the citizens of Pulaski County. And that's what makes it good. I've also given you the bylaws of the fire commission and so forth, that can kind of give you a roadmap on where I come from and what I've done and so forth, kind of help you guys in my replacement and so forth maybe. But once again, I love all of you, and I thank you for the support. Have a good day.
Thank you, Tiger.
Moved on then, road department. Jordan, would you care to come to the mic?
A few things here, I guess.
Mike, Jordan, Mike. You're not as loud as Tiger.
First thing would be your road work request. Approval on it.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second to approve the road work request. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
The next thing being the way our court meetings fell, I've asked approval on 3,000 ton of rock for December.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second for 3,000 ton of rock. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
You'll need.
Opposed?
Oh,
Okay.
And I'd like to just go ahead and ask approval on 3,000 ton of rock for January.
Motion.
Motion to approve 3,000 tons of rock for January's.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And, Brian gave this to me there a while ago. After review of the bids and the price, I think they're moved to recommend that Bill Davis receive the bid on Rocklet slide.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second, for Bill Davis.
How much was that bid for?
135,000.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's all I have to.
We all ready for the snow? All right.
Where's this at? We're probably, I feel like we're as ready as we've been in several years, so I'm not looking forward to it, but we should be ready.
Okay. All right, Aaron, you back there somewhere? I thought I saw Aaron Ross.
Becky
Okay,
is.
I thought I saw Aaron here. Becky, would you? Okay. Danny? Today? And Adam Scales, Animal Control? Tiffany is out of town. Brings us to our treasurer. Joan,
Oh,
you
that
have
would be me.
a few things for us?
Everyone should have received a bill list.
He needs to recognize Karen. Tourism.
See her back there.
She can go first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, bill list. I said everyone should have received a bill list, and, you did? Okay. It's large.
Steve, I had a question on page 37. There's a bill for $12,000 for step bars and leveling kits and floor liners, and I'm guessing that's seat covers.
Yeah, that, I'm sure that's with the new trucks getting the plows. I think that's what that is, Jason. Am I correct on that? Jordan? The levelers?
The leveling kit was the plows that was put on the equipment to get the front end better suspension to be able to handle the plow.
Floor mats and seat covers, that's just to protect the vehicles from,
And it's like $5,500 for step bars.
Is that for, that would be for all equipment?
That was for all.
That was for all of it, it wasn't just like one? That was all inclusive?
Is that to help get in and out of them? Is that the idea of that?
yeah, that's what that is.
You got in one of them. I'm an old man, I just barely could get up in them, so.
I've got a question on that regard, now, when we flip those back in, do we keep that equipment to put onto the next?
Anything that we've add on, I don't know.
Yes, anything that we add on, it's ours.
Any other questions?
So basically, all that stuff was needed, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of, whenever we turn them back in, the idea was to keep them as clean and as nice as possible for the money that we're gonna get back in return. You know, with wore out seats and floor liners and stuff, it's just to help keep the trucks clean for whenever we do return them back.
Motion.
Got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
We should probably do a roll call vote since we've got split. You could do that, please.
Wilson,
Yes.
Turpin,
No.
Wilden,
Yes.
Maxey,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
One reason we're calling this to everybody's attention, we wanna keep a little closer eye on some of this stuff. Like you said earlier, you know, how much over budget we went last year on blacktop and this, and that, and another. That's not this court's fault. That was because that it didn't get done when it was supposed to get done. And I'd like to make sure that everybody's aware of that. If we did go over, according to some people we did, other people we didn't.
That's why we're here to look after the county's money, so there's no
Yes, sir.
there. Okay, anything else?
Yes, the monthly bank reconciliation.
That's your reconciliation, gentlemen. Questions?
And one thing I will note out, just so, if y'all have any questions, but the transfers that you see on the front page on the general fund, all of those are transfers, budgeted transfers. They're not to make up any shortfalls. Those are budgeted transfers for the new policy on how we do occupational tax.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
That is all I have, gentlemen. Thank you.
We have Carolyn with us today. Carolyn, would you like to update the court?
Absolutely. I only have two things, but I just wanted to bring to your attention. You know, last year, being a banner year for us here for tourism, about $125.6 million, somewhere around that our visitors came and spent in Pulaski County. Over $2 million in local taxes that they left here. So we, when I budgeted last year, our transient tax was about $27,000 more than I budgeted. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on the 5 months we are in right now in our fiscal year. We have collected 53% of our budget, and I increased our budget this year over last year, of course. And so we're at 53% in 5 months. And when I look at this year as compared to the same period last year, we're about 4% over where we were last year. So we anticipate another great year for our county and all we have to offer. And the other thing is, January, February starts us off with boat and travel shows. And so I will go to Cincinnati, that's a 10-day show. There's only really 8 days open, but I'm there for 10 days. And then off to Louisville, and Louisville is a 5-day show. So I'll leave about the 9th of January. I'll be back somewhere around the 30th or somewhere around there. And then I'm in for a week, and I go off to Lexington to do their boat and travel show. And then we go to Indianapolis about the second week of February and do that. And that is a huge 10-day show. We also send brochures off to 5 other locations from Novi, Michigan to Florida. But you know, a lot of people think that right now tourism is very slow, but it's really one of our busier times when we talk about marketing and what we're getting ready to do. And also, Lake Cumberland Holiday Hoops Classic is coming into town between Christmas and New Year's. That has always been about 16 teams that come and compete. And this year, it's not only a boys tournament, but it's a boys-girls tournament. They'll be playing at the 3 local high schools. And please come out and support them. It is great for our lodging facilities and our restaurants and the movie theaters and bowling and everything else. And it really, I can look at our STAR reports and see exactly what's happening in our hotel lodging occupancy when they're here. So please support them, and I will be back to report after we finish our circuit the first quarter of the year. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir?
Do you need a chauffeur or chaperone?
Yes, I do. It's a tough road.
I have a question.
Thank God. Thank you
Pack
very
your
much.
bag.
Question.
Yes.
Water level in the lake is as low now as it was when they worked on the dam. Is there something going on? Or?
No, it isn't. It's just that we were so dry So totally dry. I did notice as I crossed over today, it was a little higher because of the little rain we did get, but it has just been the dry period,
I see.
so that's,
So be back to normal, so,
we are going to be back to normal,
Yeah.
absolutely.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Okay, next item, actually, we've got a couple things. We've got a regularly scheduled meeting on the 27th of this month, and it's been brought to my attention that we would like to request to cancel that meeting, as I want to make sure that's okay with Joan, that you got your year-end stuff.
Yeah, this isn't a big part of the year end to me. My big year end is in June.
But before we did that, I'd like to just clear that, so if anybody would like to make that motion, we'd entertain canceling that last meeting. of the-
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Our next meeting then will be the second Tuesday in January. Take in front of me.
Well, it's either Joan probably.
January would be the 10th.
Okay. And then, so the next item then, there's nobody requested this, but citizens' comments, and I didn't get a chance to address this at the last meeting. We did have a little issue, but we welcome all citizens of Pulaski County to come to our court to present issues or concerns they have. But we just ask that in order to do that, if you would talk to Leslie in my office the day prior so that we can get you on the agenda to do so. That's all we ask, is you would give us that courtesy before lunchtime, the day prior to the meeting. And then we also ask that you keep your comments, relatively short. 3 minutes is a good number for that. But certainly, everybody is welcome, and there was a gentleman here that stood at the last meeting and asked to speak, but we'd already called for adjournment, and to keep everything in order, we had to say no. But certainly, we would like to hear it from any citizen that has a concern. So with that said, no further business. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Merry Christmas.